With 6 rounds and 18 races complete in the inaugural Car Sales TCR Australia Series, there's plenty of numbers to consider as we head into the final round at the Ben Motorsport Park. 7 different drivers have won races, with champ-elect Will Brown taking 6 wins, more than any other driver. 5 different brands of cars have won races so far this season: Volkswagen, Hyundai, Alfa Romeo, Audi and Honda. 6 different drivers have taken the 6 Astron Tech Pole Position Awards that have been on offer so far this season. In fact, Honda Civic Type R is the only car to take multiple poles via Tony D'Alberto in Sydney and Nestor Girolami at Sandown. Argentine driver Girolami is the only driver to clean sweep a round, while the best streak of podium finishes sits at 8, set by Will Brown from Sydney Motorsport Park's opening round through Phillip Island and into the Ben Motorsport Park in July. 29 drivers have competed in this year's inaugural Car Sales TCR Australia Series. 15 of them have sprayed champagne, scoring at least 1 podium finish along the way. Brown and D'Alberto remain the only drivers to finish every race held this year. However, no driver has completed all 296 laps of racing. 1,076 kilometres of racing have been covered across 18 races, while 11 drivers have remained constant this season and competed in all 6 rounds that have been held.
Breaking from the lane, we got the update from Greg Rust earlier about Dylan O'Keefe. This car that was battling for second in the championship, in the series, will not be taking part in this race. So breaking from the lane, guys, Dylan O'Keefe will not race in this race.
He tried his best to get that car out there, but that will sit out race number 1 as we get set. The cars leave the grid on their formation lap. The 19th race of this year's series has gone by like a blur. And Car Sales TCR Australia is back at the Ben Motorsport Park. Matt Nolte, Greg Rust alongside me. Different qualifying earlier today. We've got some new names, got some international flavour in there as well, and a couple of guys coming from the back of the field.
You know Dylan O'Keefe. He's a proper professional racer, the way he goes about everything, on track and off it. He will be gutted. He picked up the bonus 2 points for that pole position this morning, which sees him 10 clear of Tony D'Alberto, third in the drivers' standing. So we're on the warm-up lap. Pole position will be vacant for this race. It's race 19 of the season, scheduled for 14 laps. The champion-elect finds himself alone on the front row. Will Brown, who you ride with now.
He's looking to cap this off nicely, and this is not the start for James Allen. In car number 10, the Ringwood Mazda entry is stranded here on the start line. He was scheduled to start out of position number 13, and that car is going nowhere at the moment.
Spoke to him prior to coming up to the commentary box here. Big mission, very different kind of car and racing for him. And he said it's taken some time to get his head around it, knowing that the pedigree, the CV that he's had. We'll talk more about that later on. Great job by the Garage One team to endeavour, we hope, to fix that fuel pressure problem for Tim Brook. He's been a great addition to the series, a guy that if you follow your motor racing, you'll have seen doing well in things like the Toyota 86 series. He's switched marks in Car Sales TCR. He's been at the wheel of a Honda, now driving that Say It. And that car still for Allen is going nowhere.
So he's made it past the start line, but he's parked underneath the Bend Bridge. And our recovery team right on the job here, but the cars are almost around the final sector on this warm-up lap. So will they tow this car off to the lane and hopefully prevent us from getting a delayed start here? For race number 1, Astron Tech pole position went to Dylan O'Keefe, but he won't start from that position today. It'll leave the front row to Will Brown, the man who wrapped up the series at Sandown just a few weeks ago. Tony D'Alberto and Aaron Cameron, his best qualifying result of the season starts out of 4. Nathan Morecambe and Andre Heimgartner on the next row. Chris Pither and Jordan Cox start out of 7 and 8. We welcome Ian McDougall into the field. He starts out of position 9 alongside Jason Bryce.
How good is that performance by McDougall in the Audi when you consider that Liam McAdam has a little bit more recent experience in that car, so too does Russell Ingall. So, that's a fabulous performance. We need to underscore that. And a bit of a change in the running for the Subarus as well in terms of the team structure. More recently, you've seen them with the Kelly Racing outfit. New team running them there now. We've got Barton Moore behind the wheel and Matt Simmons, a guy who's had a lot of experience in the simulator world, but graduated through a gamer to racer program that Nissan ran very successfully in recent years. Loving having that young guy as a part of our sport. A great addition. 20 cars on the grid for the final round. So there's Jordan Cox, guy who's a bit of an internet sensation in himself, coming around to line up on the grid. Lots of other stories that will follow throughout this for you. Aaron Cameron, who we spoke to there on the grid, beside Tony D'Alberto. Given the dramas facing Dylan O'Keefe here, those two guys in the fight for second, it is going to be game on between the pair of them. Right now, D'Alberto third in the points, Aaron Cameron fourth.
Yeah, it's going to be a big build-up to this one. Will Brown starting on that front row. Hyundai i30, HMO Customer Racing, picked up the championship and now can have some fun here on the final weekend. He'll double up in the S5000 class later on this afternoon, the first qualifying heat.
Does he ever not have fun?
No, he wouldn't know how not to have fun. He's incredible. Chelsea Angelo back in the field. She's in car 62, so we welcome the Victorian back into Car Sales TCR Australia. That's Russell Ingall just to the front on the left-hand side in the Melbourne Performance Centre Audi. We get set for a start and race number one, Car Sales TCR Australia Series. Welcome to our live coverage. An amazing season it's been so far. Will we have a new winner, or will Will Brown drive off into the distance? The lights go out and we get underway here at the Ben Motorsport Park in South Australia. Tony D'Alberto has got the best start here. He'll lead the field down to turn number one. It wasn't the great start for Will Brown. He's going to get swamped here as he and Tony D'Alberto go side by side. They fan out to 3 and 4 wide into turn number one. Oh, they tiptoe their way through. They stay side by side. But everybody looks like they're safely through. And Brown come back from all of that.
Look at the dancing. They're on those cold tyres for the first lap or so, but it's a question of the brave. Nice. Will Brown gets back on top. Leads them from Tony D'Alberto. Nice start by his teammate Nathan Morcom. Look at this. Elbows out. The VW of Aaron Cameron looks aggressive. Dives under brakes there and he'll get it done. Up into third.
And Chris Pither wants a slice of the action too. He'll make up one spot, and all of a sudden Morcom loses two because Jordan Cox gets the job done as well. As around the backside of the circuit, Pither tries the outside. Can't be done here at the Ben Motorsport Park. You're in car with Andre Heimgartner. That's Jason Bright ahead as he works his way through the field. He's up in 8th position so far. Lap 1 of 14.
Heimgartner was having a good laugh with Will Brown prior to this race getting underway. But it all changes once the helmet goes on. He's chasing the former Bathurst winner in Jason Bright, a guy who raced successfully overseas as well. He's enjoyed his time in TCR and he made quite an impact, Matt, at the start of the season. But since then, the level of competition has really... Look at this. Angelo. Great move by Chelsea Angelo, and that's on the Kangan Institute car. Teammate Andre Heimgartner.
And looked like to do it with ease as well there on the run between 12 and 13. Back in car with a 777. So Angelo, on her return, moves ahead of Heimgartner. In this one, puts herself up into the top 10 position now. It's a round to complete the first lap. Oh, there's cars everywhere. One into the gravel. It's Angelo. Heimgartner also involved in this one, and Leah McAdam.
What has happened there?
And all just exploded going into the second last turn. Boot is up on the Dare Ice Coffee entry.
Damage to the left front of McAdam's car. Has there been some sort of moment, or maybe a little bit ambitious under braking at that point of the track? Heimgartner's car's wounded. McAdam's car's not going anywhere. Will we get a safety car here at the Ben Motorsport Park?
What a shame. She was on target for a great result there in that 62 machine. And now, like McAdam is off the circuit. We stay green for the time being. We keep an eye out the window at the same time. There's Tim Brook working his way across the backside of the circuit, but it's Brown, D'Alberto, Cameron, Pither and Jordan Cox. Your top 5, lap 2 here at the Bend.
Never underestimate the enforcer. A little bit of damage to the right front of that car, but he finds himself, Russell Ingall, up in position 8. Here's Aaron Cameron, third at the moment in the VW, chasing Tony D'Alberto in the Honda. It's a Hyundai in the hands of Will Brown, leading the way. Back to the task force entry of Jason Bright. He's got Luke King on the radio this weekend, a guy that you know well, Matt, from the Toyota 86 series, someone who just immerses himself in motorsport.
Loves it, but it's going to stack this field up. The uncapped safety car has been called, so we couldn't get those cars out of the second last turn. Love to break down what happened there. We saw it from the in-car, and all of a sudden there was cars facing the wrong direction. I think the focus will be on that 97 of Liam McAdam. There was steam out the front of his car. And Chelsea Angelo, after that dynamite move up here at turn 13 past Andre Heimgartner, found herself in the gravel as we slow the field down with Will Brown leading. The gap was 1 second. It's back to 0.
So ANCAP safety car on circuit here at the Ben Motorsport Park. Bit of debris as well. ANCAP team, I should point out too, Matt, doing a terrific activation here in the paddock area this weekend. We'll tell you more about that during the coverage. Look at the damage to the Angelo car. Just while they're going to work here, the officials. Here's Todd Kelly on the radio. Aaron?
I just ducked into the Melbourne Performance Centre garage, guys, and had a quick chat to Paul Forgy. And Rusty, you know Paul very well from his years of working with Marcus Ambrose and Stone Brothers Racing. He's on the radio for Liam McAdam. I said, did he say anything? No, hasn't said anything. So that's always a little bit of a sign that there's probably something a bit more to what's unfolded there. We'll get a bit more on it later.
Well done, Moons. We'll follow that story up, and no doubt we'll hear from Dylan O'Keefe at some point as well. It's been a big week for Liam McAdam. Finished his engineering degree, I think, with honours as well, and then came here to go racing. More from the lane. Here's Cam.
Yeah, Todd Kelly, Chelsea Angelo, she's back out there. Can you tell us what's happened? You've just been on the radio with her.
Yeah, well, I was just running from the other end of pit lane, so I watched the field come past and didn't see her there, and she didn't say anything on the radio, and it wasn't until I got back that I realised there was a bit of an issue. So I haven't even seen the replay yet, but the boys said it looked like half a decent shunt, so hopefully she's okay, and we'll assess the car and try and get it back out there for tomorrow.
Now, in terms of managing Chelsea and her comeback at this time, what's the process you will go through with her to ensure that you build the confidence back up?
She's pretty bulletproof. It wasn't her fault, or that's what she said over the radio. I haven't seen the footage yet, but someone's, I think, T-boned her or got her sideways. So she's had ups and downs in her career, as every driver does. And if we can get the car going, which I hope we can, she'll bounce back no problems.
Thanks, TK.
Thanks.
The highs and lows of motorsport. Dylan O'Keefe, turn around. Backpack is packed, he's ready to go and leave the track. What's happened in this Alfa Romeo? Power steering drama?
Yeah, back to the power steering issue. So we had a problem yesterday, tried to resolve it, still come up in qualifying, swapped the steering rack for race 1. Turns out no power steering still, and we obviously couldn't make it to the grid. So really disappointing. I know we had the car to a fight for today for the win and for tomorrow. So that's pretty much second in the championship over. But yeah, it's no one's fault, just what happens. So I can't do anything about it.
It is never over until it's over. There's 2 more races tomorrow. We hope to see you and that amazing mustache back tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully we can come back tomorrow from the back. I mean, it's extremely hard to overtake in this category, so we've got the car pace, but hopefully we can come back tomorrow and see what we can make of it.
We'll see you then.
Yeah, cheers.
I'm ready to go. I'm good. David Wall, Tony D'Alberto's put himself in a good position at the moment, and Johnny Martin was starting to come through the field.
Yeah, I think John gets the award for passing the most cars in the first lap. He's come from some last there to the top 10, so yeah, very, very good job there, and just hopefully we can stay there or chip away 1 or 2 more, and he can get his weekend back on track. And Tony's had a really good start there and nearly got the lead at the first corner, but so far so good, but we'll see how we go.
What are the strengths of your car and your driver that can get the job done over Will Brown?
We'll see, I suppose. We'll see how everyone's evolved since we've been here last. But yeah, our car's normally pretty good medium to high speed stuff, so maybe middle sector's our key. We'll see how we go.
Thanks, Wally.
Thanks, guys.
Just to expand on team boss David Wall's point there, John Martin has gone from rear of grid to P6. Now, the reason he started rear of grid, they did an engine change in that Honda yesterday. That's part of the penalty. Replay of the start, and look at the way the Honda of Tony D'Alberto and Aaron Cameron, they swamped Will Brown off the line, didn't they?
And you would have thought they would have got past him, but Brown fought back at the bottom turn here as the car's fanned out into turn number 1. And Brown has already tiptoed through on cold tyres on the first lap. Brown would prevail and take the lead through the first set of turns.
Bit of bodywork. I'm not sure which car that came off there on the Actron Air replay, but Brown got back ahead. Nathan Morecambe, super stuff as well.
This might tell us what happened down at the second last turn. Oh, McAdam came in. He was on the grass before he got to the final turn and into the Dare Ice Coffee entry. And Heimgartner, really the innocent party in all that. He took exit stage left. There's the replay from the Kangan Institute car. And he was trying to turn in the end. He faced the field in the wrong direction. But that was a big impact from Liam McAdam on Chelsea Angelo.
Now, we know that Alex Davison is very experienced in Australian motorsport. He, of course, works in a driving standards role for this class. It will be interesting to see how they review that one after race 19 of the championship. We're scheduled to have 11 to go in this one. Hopefully we get a restart very soon for you here at the Bend. The early morning cloud that we've had is cleared. Highs of about 20 degrees here today. It is very dry, but the team that run this complex, every time we come back, Matt, there's something new, some sort of new addition. It's tremendous, isn't it?
Yeah, it's an amazing facility. We're about an hour and 20 minutes southeast of Adelaide on the southeastern freeway, so a quick trip from downtown Adelaide to come out to this incredible complex, which was voted best motorsport complex in the world overnight last night.
Mega, yeah, really cool. They had an expo internationally, the Professional Motorsport World Expo ceremony and gala dinner, and yeah, he picked up that gong, and I know the Shahin family will be hugely proud of that wrap. Look at the karting going on in the background there. So that's the thing about it. It's a multi-purpose venue. There is a four-wheel drive track that many of the manufacturers use, a rally course as well, and much, much more. So Brown holds the lead from D'Alberto and Aaron Cameron. Let's get another update from the lane. Cam?
Well, I've got Barry Morecambe from HMO Customer Racing. It's been a wonderful season for you guys so far. Will Brown has just been a standout, hasn't he?
Yep. Yeah, and the i30N's a great car, you know. I mean, straight out of the box, the car was fast, and, you know, Will and Nath both keep it up the front. So, you know, to have two cars in the top five pretty much week in, week out, it's pretty good here, you know, especially in this category, you know.
Yeah. Did you expect to come out of the box in the first season as strongly as you did?
I think the cars have shown competitiveness last year in the World TCR, so yeah, they were good. So I always knew they were going to be good.
Well, let's hope you get the race and win again.
Yeah, let's hope.
Thanks, Barry.
Looks like lights out on the safety car, so we'll get a restart this time around. Some rumours abound, Matt, about Hyundais for 2020, perhaps an expansion, maybe I think even a Veloster, we'll see, I don't know, but that's a bit of chat up and down the lane. Brown leads the way from D'Alberto. Aaron Cameron, Chris Pither doing a nice job in that Renault Megane. Here we go, Brown will lead them. It rises up onto the front straight. It's a right-hander that ultimately gets them there, and then he'll be able to unleash that power. Dip down here, and then around up on to the chute. Here we go, he's away. He's put the title beyond doubt in points terms, and he wants to finish the year in style. A little bit ragged from Cameron as he came onto the straight that time around. Jordan Cox, nice performance in the Alfa Romeo. He sits in fifth ahead of Nathan Morecambe. Look at this. D'Alberto trying to get as much warmth and temp as possible into those tyres. Russell Ingall defensive in the background there in the Castrol entry.
He's got a bit of a guard flapping up there on his Melbourne Performance Centre Audi, car number 100, as we go back to green flag racing here at the Bend Motorsport Park. There he is with Moff just behind him as the field settle back in. Look at the margin. Brown has got already. It's out to over a second alone from Tony D'Alberto. Aaron Cameron with Chris Pither on the tail of him in the Renault Megane as they work their way down to the hairpin. And look behind him. Here comes Jordan Cox looking for the move. And he's got the field like Morecambe and Bright just behind him here.
That's actually a really good point you make. And when you look back over season 2019, that's one of the key strengths of Will Brown. He's dynamite on cold rubber, isn't he?
Absolutely. And even on that start lap, he was weaving some heat into the tyres now. And already it's out to 1.3 seconds as we stay with Jordan Cox, who jumped into the series earlier this year and has been an absolute hit with the fans, more known for his improved production exploits over the years, and great to have him as part of Car Sales TCR Australia this year. That was Nathan Morecambe going through the shot in sixth position with Bright. Martin from the back of the field up to 8th. Ingall and Barton Moore, who's in the field this weekend in car 27, is in 10th.
Morecambe looks like he's got pace. He looks racy here. Cox is trying to defend to prevent Morecambe finding a way past, and that has just helped in a little way Chris Pither, who sits in third. Good sectors popping up here from Tony D'Alberto in the Honda. Pither in fourth, I should point out.
And this has helped the championship for D'Alberto while Dylan O'Keefe has got the backpack on and heading to the hotel. This will seesaw it around going into the two races we have here tomorrow. It's not all said and done today. Moved by Moffat there at the second last turn, but he only just got the job done on Barton Moore. As through we come to complete a lap. And 1:57.1 on the first flying lap is a new record straight up for Will Brown in car number 30. The margin 1.4 seconds. A whole heap of dust being kicked up from the back of the field as we've got battle packs everywhere here on this big long straight.
John Martin on the inside of Jason Bright and gets the move. Squares it away in that Honda. That'll put him 7th position. Aaron Cameron looking good in that VW, chasing down Tony D'Alberto. It's helped Will Brown. He's got the fastest lap of the race so far and a 2-second almost advantage over D'Alberto.
Remember last time we were here in June, we had changeable conditions, but primarily it was freezing cold here with damp conditions. We had a wet race here on the Saturday. So the first real dry race we've had at the Bend Motorsport Park. D'Alberto and Cameron arguing over 2nd and 3rd here with still 9 laps to go. Lap 6 of race 1, Car Sales TCR Australia.
Cameron said compared to the last time we were here in the championship, and everyone was trying to get used to these cars, get used to the Bend Motorsport Park, he feels that the rear of that VW now is more trusting, if you like. It's more progressive when it steps out or slides. Early on, everyone was trying to get used to that little quirky trait of these cars. When they snap, they really go on you fast.
Absolutely. Here's Cameron still. He's going to make the move. Brave to do it at the top here between 12 and 13. As the Chelsea Angelo car goes back into the garage down at Kelly Racing. They'll try and get to work on that and have it ready for tomorrow's 2nd and 3rd race. Remember, we only have a 30-minute gap between the 2 races tomorrow, but plenty of time to turn around the Dare Ice Coffee entry.
That is a tough one for her to take for more than just the incident itself. She works so hard behind the scenes with her racing, has had to sit out a bit of racing, as you talked about this season. So we wanted to come back strong. And basically, the way she started the weekend was proof she can do that.
On for a top 10 result here today, a genuine top 10 contender. As we now look at Cameron, D'Alberto covers him off nicely, parks it down the middle. That is a lot of damage to car 62 on the passenger side of the Astra down there in the pits. Well, Cameron thought about it on D'Alberto, but all those years of experience from Tony D covered him off nicely. We're working lap 7, halfway home here at the Bend Motorsport Park. Will Brown is out to 2.2 seconds now.
I reckon Morecambe may be able to squeeze past Jordan Cox in the background in that Alfa Romeo as well. Keep an eye on that battle. It's ultra close, as it is between Cameron and D'Alberto. And remember, they are fighting for 2nd in the championship, late under brakes. No contact, though. That's nice driving by Aaron Cameron.
That was close. Love that part of the circuit. In fact, there's not a bad part of this circuit, is there? It's designed for these cars. They're loving every second of it here today.
That's one of those spots where you go, oh, stop, please stop, please stop.
They'll come back later and say, what are you worried about? It was fine. It was miles away. Here's Cox. Nathan Morecambe on the back in the Rondo prepared H2O customer racing entry. Jordan Cox will make him work for this. That car dances around through the backside of this Bend Motorsport Park course. Someone's off in the dirt.
Is that Pither? Maybe it was Chris Pither. He's pushing hard in that Renault Megane. Morecambe's got speed on his side, but he understeers off. Off goes Nathan Morecambe. The right front's gone. Now that's happened as he's just started to skirt the gravel trap. That's clearly got to be a problem there. Something's let go with that right front.
There was no contact.
That's weird.
We didn't see any contact, but that has gone off at high speed at the top. There's a lot of runoff here at the Bend Motorsport Park, but the wheel parting company with the front of his car and is out of this race. Meantime, Aaron Cameron to the inside, change of position. He goes up to 2nd now, and now Tony D will do the fighting here as they complete another lap.
That's smart stuff by this young guy who has some great karting experience up against the likes of Tony D'Alberto, who's got GT championships and driven at Bathurst as a great co-driver. He pressured him. He kept that pressure on Aaron Cameron. Nice job. Up to P2 now.
And now Chris Pither joins the party of 3 down here at turn number 1. So Cameron up to 2nd, but he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to catch Will Brown, because he's got 3.5 seconds of these guys just ripping out 157s.
He's checked out, hasn't he?
As many as you like. Fastest lap of the race, back on the first flying lap. We'll take a look at a replay. Here's what will tell us happened to the number 11 car. No contact, but as he came up here, he was so lucky not to drill the back of Jordan Cox there.
And you could hear it squeal when it first happened, when we saw the live or heard the live, got the live shot of it as it was parting company with the car. Something odd has happened there. We'll get an update from Hyundai. Maybe there's been a radio communique between Nathan and the team, which sheds more light on it. Back to Chris Pither. Now, this is interesting. D'Alberto has fallen back into the clutches of the Renault. Cameron's gone. He's been out. Now that he's cleared him, look at it. He's away.
He's already found half a second on Will Brown in this sector alone. As around towards turn 12 we go, the Volkswagen Golf, the Honda Civic and the Renault Megane. Three mates in three spots respectively, climbing the hill. Dust everywhere once again. On that inside we saw earlier today in Astron Tech qualifying. Cox will line up on the back of Pither here.
Top 4 or so are the only ones that have been lapping in the 1 minute 57 bracket. So this is good stuff from Cameron. Will he be able to get close enough to Will Brown with less than 7 laps to go? That's probably the big question mark.
Got a margin. It goes out a bit, seesaws a bit between the sectors from first to second. There's Brown crossing the line. And into the pits comes Tim Brook, slowing down to the Morris Finance entry. The Say Cooper comes into pit lane. We'll do the same with Cam.
I've just been with HMO Customer Racing finding out what's happened with Nathan Morecambe. They have to wait for him to come in. There was nothing reported, no problems reported before that front right went. All he said was, I've lost my front right. So we'll find out more and let you know.
Guys, Tim Brook in the Cooper coming back into pit lane, the Morris Finance car. He's already made 1 stop so far. I just had a quick chat to some of the team. They're going to put this car in the garage. In fact, they've had ongoing issues with fuel pressure and the like with this car. So new car to the series, new team to the series as well. Tim's had a run in a Honda earlier in the year. He's the Toyota 86 Racing Series champion from last year. They've got some problems with this car, but they'll get it right. This is a great addition to the field this weekend.
And as you rightly point out, Moon's a good team of people around it, including Marty Brand, who's helped engineer the likes of Paul Dumbrell to a championship in the development series. Andre Heimgartner rejoins. The Kangan Institute car was looking really handy early on, that Astro. That's a shame, but it was beyond his control, wasn't it?
Absolutely. They were just outside that top 10, so he rejoins the circuit in 13th position. So we go back to Tony D'Alberto, who's in 3rd position. Chris Pither in the black and yellow Renault Megane across the top of the hill. They're really eating the inside of that curb, which is bringing dirt onto the circuit. It's a fast enough corner as it is with grip.
Pither has got his eyes on a top 3 finish here. I think he senses he might be able to get it done with less than 6 laps to go here. First of 3 races for the weekend. It's race 19 of 21 for the season. Great way for us to close out the championship, and an epic battle continuing for second as we go back to Cam.
Chelsea Angelo, good to see you out of the car. That was a huge hit. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Look, I'm a little bit sore on my left-hand side and my rib on the right, but it's just a shame because we were up to probably like 8th or 9th at the time, and then next minute we get an absolute shunt into the second last corner. I mean, we're all professional racers. Shit like this should not be happening at all.
I just had a look at the cage and it's damaged the cage, bent it in. That looks not good for your weekend. You were going so well. That was a great move on Andre.
Yeah, I know. I mean, we had the pace, so it's just like I said before, it's just a shame because it's race 1. We shouldn't be doing stuff like this, but it is what it is, so I can't do anything else about it.
The main thing's you're okay. Thanks, Chelsea.
Thank you.
Hey, Cam, just while you're there, has she spoken to Liam? It looked like from the vision that Liam came to chat with her and perhaps apologise.
Sorry, I didn't get it. Oh, I can't hear it.
I'm not sure that Cam, he's chatting away there, I think, to Chelsea. We'll get more on that story. Back to the fight for 3rd place. Tony D'Alberto from Chris Pither. Pither's lap times, it's only a 10th or 2, but he's got that. He seems to have the edge.
You know what? Aaron Cameron is closing in here on Will Brown. He's taken 7/10 out, set his own fastest lap of the race on the previous lap, 1:57.2. The gap is 2.8 seconds. Going back to that replay while we were hearing from Chelsea Angelo, the violence of that impact. And you can see it go right through the in-car camera, and that'll rattle her cage, no doubt about it. She was bitterly disappointed, but rightly so. On target for a great result today, and it's just not going to be the case for that Dare Ice Coffee entry. Closing stages of this race, we work the final sector of the Bend Motorsport Park. Here's the man that leads the way and has won this year's series and out to party here at the Bend. His name is Will Brown, the 21-year-old from Toowoomba, who's really rising to the top as a genuine star in Australian motor racing this year. And through the final turn, to come around and complete another lap here.
Editorial boss of car sales, Mike Sinclair, texting me while we're commentating here, question marking whether that's that incident for Nathan Morecambe is wheel stud related. We'll chase that story for you and hopefully answer it before the end of the broadcast. Doesn't seem to be worrying his teammate Will Brown at the moment. The gap is 2.76 seconds now between Brown and Cameron. Tony D'Alberto sits in third place. Russell Ingall up into P8. Nice job.
Looks like that guard has folded itself back in nicely, so nothing to worry about there for the Melbourne Performance Audi team. And a Castrol-sponsored car. Car 100. 100 years of Castrol in Australia. And Ingall inside the top 10 right now. It's a great addition to the series. It almost feel like the old British touring car days with Ingall in the field this year. What will 2020 hold when we expand the series once again? More cars, more drivers. As the series continues to evolve. Car Sales TCR Australia. We're working lap 11 of 14. Will Brown has got the gap out again to 2.7 seconds.
Little shout out to Barton Moore, who's at the wheel of one of the Subaru WRXs. He's in position number 9. And Alexandra Whitley, who's been working behind the scenes to ensure that she's got a future in Aussie motorsport and trying to sort of stitch deals together and things like that while doing some driver training back in New Zealand. She's in P10 in the VW Golf. Nice job.
Great result. 10th position. Oh, look at the dirt now on the track. They're really starting to cut a line on the inside. Jordan Cox starting to turn up the heat on Chris Pither now. The Alpha up against the Renault as they plunge down the hill and a change of direction. I really like this part of the circuit. It's almost like the old Oran Park dogleg, but in a reverse direction. Down the hill to the second last turn.
Look at this. Just as the race has gone on here, we've seen a little bit of change. So Pither has slipped back into the clutches now. So maybe Tony was able to. We're hearing rather this will be the final lap. So D'Alberto maybe has cooled things off and been able to look after that third position. Smart driving, Tony D'Alberto.
He may have cooled off, but I don't think Jordan Cox is cooling off. If anything, he's getting hotter down here into turn number 1. We pick up the entire field coming down the straight. Barton Moore, Alexandra Whitley and Ian McDougall on debut. He's more known for racing a Mini Cooper in the Victorian Sports Sedan Series, and a great addition to Car Sales TCR Australia this year at this round. Barton Moore also another addition. We saw him in S5000 at Sandown. And Alexandra Whitley holding on here to a top 10 finish.
Glitch in the timing that. I've been one place out with some of the calls I've been making before. The live timing slightly different to what you're seeing, which is accurate on your screen live here on SBS or if you're watching the stream. But Brown is leading the way by 2.5 seconds from D'Alberto. We are on the run home. First of 3 races for the weekend here at the Ben Motorsport Park to wrap up a sensational first season of Car Sales TCR Australia. And it's a little entree of what we know is going to be an expansion for 2020. It's been great to have Jordan Cox as a part of the game. Martin is one of the guys who is about to jump from this car, switch helmets and get set for S5000. Will Brown is another one.
Absolutely. They'll follow this. The qualifying race for S5000 follows Car Sales TCR Australia. This 3-car battle headed by Chris Pither. Set sail for the final turn. John Martin from the back of the field. Great drive in car 24. Second of the Wall Racing Hondas, while his teammate runs a nice third position in this race.
Heading for the checkered flag, and it's all done, all clear. Well done to Will Brown. Banks another victory in that Hyundai. What a year it's been. Aaron Cameron, that'll be huge for him in that fight for second position. We've got that tomorrow with 2 races to come is going to be absolutely worth watching. Good job.
Can't wait for that. Will Brown, though, just a class act from Go to Woo here today. Probably the only glitch was the start, and I think he'd accept that as well, but from that point he was unstoppable. We had the ANCAP safety car out for a couple of laps, and from that point on cold tyres put a good margin on the field, and 1 second will be the victory between himself and Aaron Cameron here today. Great result for the Victorian, the Melbourne Performance Centre Volkswagen Golf. Tony D'Alberto 3rd, Chris Pither in 4th. Jordan Cox, a solid job today in 5th position.
Jason Bright and Russell Ingall inside the 10. Nice work by Ian McDougall as well for Melbourne Performance Centre. We need a commercial break here in our coverage. We'll wrap things up as far as TCR is concerned after this, but stick around. S5000 still to come as well. Back in a moment.
Beautiful Bend Motorsport Park has just seen race number 1 of the weekend. Car Sales TCR Australia here, dominated by Will Brown, who wrapped up the championship. And with him right now is our own Aaron Noonan.
Well, Matt, he's won more races than anybody in the Car Sales TCR Australia Series this year. You don't need to win races to win the title, but you just couldn't help yourself. Well done, Will Brown.
No, we're having fun this weekend and we're still going for race wins. It's a competitive sport and we want to win, so fantastic. The car was great and yeah, really happy.
I remember that when we came to the Bend Motorsport Park earlier on in the year, this car struggled a bit. It faded a bit early. Was it better today?
Yeah, definitely better today. It's fading later in the race and luckily enough I had a big enough gap, but car was great and we'll tune up a little bit more tomorrow and have another crack.
S5000's coming up soon. You get back in that big open wheel. I can hear him warming up for you. Excited for that too?
Yeah, can't wait to jump back in it. It's an absolute beast. It's a little bit scary as well, but can't wait to race. It's great pedigree of drivers in the category this weekend.
Good job, there he is, Will Brown. We'll head around to the runner-up today from the Melbourne Performance Centre team for the Volkswagen Golf GTI. Car number 2 in P number 2. He's having the download here with the guy who he caught and he passed. We'll talk to Tony in a second. Aaron Cameron, well done. We talked on the grid about getting to this runner-up position in the series, the prize money that's offer. You're holding up your end of the deal at the moment.
Yeah, I'm doing good. He's also doing good, so I was hoping Chris or the other Alpha would have a go, but it's all right. It's good to be on the podium with these guys, so yeah.
Great job. Well done. Aaron Cameron, there he is. 2 more races tomorrow in the Volkswagen. We'll head down to Tony D'Alberto in the Honda Civic Type R. That Volkswagen was all over you there for a little while, and you held him off for a couple of laps, but it seemed like the inevitable was going to occur, and it did.
Yeah, I was sort of struggling a little bit there. The car really never switched on. I don't think we've quite got the tyre pressure just right yet. And yeah, probably lacking a little bit of straight line to some of these other guys. So I sort of had a bit of an oops down the second last corner, and Aaron got a run on me, so good on him. He got the position, and I couldn't hold him. I couldn't keep up with him from then on. So
just quickly, you know how much runner-up in this series is worth?
I don't know how much.
50 grand. You better get on it tomorrow.
50 grand? Gee whiz, I tell you what, nice holiday.
Yeah, 2 races tomorrow. Well done today.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
And with that, it puts Tony D'Alberto up into 2nd place in the series by 15 points. Aaron Cameron now goes into 3rd. And that's the podium in championship order. We'll squeeze another break in. The podium not too far away. Car Sales TCR Australia returns right after this.
Okay, mate, we are good to go, mate. We are good to go. Okay, you just cue me, mate. You say when. And I'm staying behind the scenes. I'm not on stage, am I? Yeah, cool.
But we're far from done here at the Bend Motorsport Park. The Car Sales TCR Australia Series race number 1 has been completed here. We're not too far away from our podium. There's our top 3. Ironically, it's our series top 3. And on the podium, speaking of the podium, here's Greg Rust.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Round 7 Race 1 podium presentation for Car Sales TCR Australia. A big thanks to our series sponsors, Car Sales, Astron Tech, Actron Air, Michelin and Panther Fuel. Presenting the trophies today will be Peter Heatley, Michelin Australia General Manager. Welcoming to the podium, 3rd place this afternoon from Wall Racing in the Honda Civic Type R. Make some noise for Tony D'Alberto.
Make some noise. I'm going to go home.
Now in 2nd position, driving the Volkswagen Golf GTI from the Melbourne Performance Centre, this youngster's pumped about it too, Aaron Cameron. And your winner this afternoon, continuing a brilliant season from the HMO Customer Racing Team in the Hyundai i30N, it's Will Brown. That is the podium for Round 7, Race 1. Still 2 big races to come on Sunday here from the Bend Motorsport Park. But gentlemen, the podium is yours.
Smiles all round, our top 3 here in race number 1. Car Sales TCR Australia, Will Brown getting his 7th victory of the season and just putting the icing on the cake of what's been a breakout year. In the first year of TCR Australia, Aaron Cameron, his second place result of the season, and Tony D'Alberto moving up to 2nd. And spray champagne pretty high here, and Will Brown will be trying to keep that race as dry as he can because he'll be suiting up very, very soon for the S5000s, which will have their first qualifying race of the weekend. Like Greg Russ mentioned, 2 big races to come here tomorrow in the final round of Car Sales TCR Australia. Settle in, we're taking a short break, but when we come back, we go open wheeler racing. It's the S5000s here at the Bend Motorsport Park.